Hello and welcome to the channel everybody. I'm Jason Storm, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the Oculus Rift S to the Lenovo Explorer. Now I've got a few VR videos on my channel and I'm getting a few questions. VR is becoming more of a thing in 2020, and so I'm getting asked a lot of questions if the Lenovo Explorer is still relevant today. Is it worth buying? Let's cover that, and let's talk about the new, I guess you could say reasonably budget VR headset with inside-out tracking. Which should you go for? Well, let's stick around and find out. First up, let's talk about the price of these two headsets. This is a few years old now. You can't buy this new anymore. A lot of people are looking at the Lenovo Explorer as a cheap option to get into VR. You can pick these up in Australia for Australian dollars of about $250 to $350 somewhere, depending on the condition. Which is new. When these were new in Australia, these were about $900, whereas this one at the moment in Australian dollars, brand new, is around 700-ish. So we're looking at double the price here. Let's talk about the sound, because this is going to be an easy one. The Oculus Rift S has little speakers. I don't know if you can see that there. Here, and that directs audio straight into your ears. When you're around the headset, if you've got someone wearing it, you don't really hear much of it. But then when you got it on, it is actually of reasonable quality. Is it as good as a proper headset like this? No, it isn't. If you're wanting good audio, you're best off still plugging into the headphone jack here, whereas the Lenovo Explorer here, that doesn't have any speakers. None, nada, zip. But you do have a headphone jack. So for sound with this, you are required to have a headset. So an additional expense you may or may not have to buy, depending if you have one. Second up, let's talk about vision. The vision between the two headsets. Technically, the two headsets have very similar displays and shouldn't look too much different when you put the headset on. However, I will tell you there is a very, very big difference. Even though you can't tell on the specs, there's a very big difference between the two. In terms of refresh rate, this is 90 Hertz and this is 80 Hertz. So technically this should actually be a little bit better in terms of, especially in motion sickness and things like that. And actually, while I'm on that note, that is if you have this HDMI plugged into HDMI 1.4, or you have it plugged into a converter that will convert from HDMI to DisplayPort. It'd be 90 Hertz. But if you have this plugged into some HDMI 1.2, I think it is, the older version of HDMI, you only get, I think it's 60 Hertz or something around there. But most people will probably have newer HDMI. Just check. If not, if you've got a DisplayPort, whack on an adapter, use that. With the Rift S, you don't get a choice in that. If you don't have a DisplayPort, you can't use it. Now, some laptops have mini DisplayPorts, and that's fine. You can use this DisplayPort to mini DisplayPort adapter that comes with the Rift S. But if your computer or laptop only has HDMI, you can't run a converter that goes from DisplayPort to HDMI. It just won't work. Don't try it. Don't buy it thinking you can, because you can't. Screen door effect is better on the Rift S. And screen door effect is, for example, you're looking at this display, looks buttery smooth, amazing, right? But you get close to this display, all of a sudden, you can see every individual pixel and that screen door effect in between every individual pixel. And wearing a VR headset is very, very similar to doing this and looking really close to those individual pixels. You've got a screen on your face, like this far away. And that screen door effect in the last few years on VR headsets has become better, and that's why it's better on the Rift S. It's more noticeable on the Lenovo Explorer, which can be a little distracting depending on what you're doing. And the second thing that makes the vision better on the Rift S is the sweet spot. And that's these lenses here. And again, with time, VR has gotten better. And while this headset was probably one of the best Windows mixed reality headsets in terms of the vision in its time, when you compare it to newer headsets like the Rift S, it's not as good. Can you deal with it? Yes. I mean, I dealt with it for years. So yeah, the sweet spot and the lenses on this, I find when I put the headset on, when I first put this on, I have to like move around the headset a little bit, try to find that sweet spot that the vision isn't as blurry. And then once you do have that set up and you've got your eyes in that sweet spot, then in the Lenovo Explorer, if you're looking straight forward and then you go look up at the corner a little bit to see something going on over there, just like this, on the Lenovo Explorer, it's going to look a bit blurry. Whereas in the Rift S, you can look up and it's not as blurry. It has that much bigger sweet spot that everything's in focus. Whereas the Lenovo Explorer, you're looking at what's in front of you. You want to look at something up there, you physically have to turn your head and look up there that way and then move back down. Your eyes nearly have to be in the center all the time. Otherwise, it's not going to be in focus. You can't just look up like that. But that's just VR circa a few years ago, really. Let's talk about comfort. So the comfort of the two is actually kind of a difficult one. Now, as you can see between these two headsets, this one has the band in the middle at the top. This one also has the foam that goes all the way around. Whereas the Lenovo Explorer, it's only got a little bit of foam here, a little bit of foam here, no headband in the middle. It's just literally the halo that keeps it on. But if you're in a game like Super Hot VR and you're running around doing so, the headset moves around a little bit. For that reason, this isn't the most secure. It's not bad, but it's not the most secure. For comfort, I actually prefer this over this. The Lenovo Explorer also has this nifty feature that I don't know why Oculus decided to leave out on this. But hey, where am I in the room? Am I going to hit anything? Oh, someone's walked into the room. I can check, back down, without pulling my headset off. So in terms of that, I mean, Lenovo Explorer all day long. However, if you're playing a lot of games like Super Hot VR, Contractors, Arizona Sunshine, anything like that, then maybe the Rift S is better for you, because this setup is actually more secure, because I've never had this fall off. I've never had to readjust this. It seems better in terms of secure on your head, which is probably pretty important. And this just doesn't lift up, so it's actually really difficult to try and get on and off. Even though this does have a button that can help you go in and out. I have mine out as far as it can go already. And let me show you a little bit more on how to put this on. I just managed to pull it over my face a little bit by pulling this out, which nearly feels like I'm going to break it. But anyway, now I'm in. But if I need to see where I am in the room or anything like that, I can't just flip this up. This is securely on my face. I don't have any light leakage here, which is good. It's actually better than the Lenovo Explorer, because I do get a little bit of light leakage on the sides. And then each time I have to see what's going on in the room or where I am, I have to pull it up and then just manage to scrape it off my face. The Lenovo Explorer is also a bit lighter. It's much more comfortable to be on your face for longer periods of time. Not that this isn't comfortable, it's fine, and it's also more secure. If I had to pick one, it's very 50-50, kind of draw. That's comfortable, that's more secure. That has less light leakage. I don't mind this being on my face, so, you know, kind of split between the two. Let's talk about controllers. Do you want a big one? Do you want a small one? Probably the answer is going to be small. Now, the Oculus controller is smaller, probably a little bit lighter, I'd say. It feels more ergonomic in your hands. This is like sculpted, and all my hands and fingers go exactly where they need to. Whereas this, very straight, weird lines, all that stuff, I don't know. It's not a big issue, but it doesn't feel as good in my hands as the Oculus Rift S controller. These are touch sensitive. So when I'm in a game and I just lift my finger up like that, in the game, my finger actually lifts up, like, even though I'm not pressing a button, it knows that my finger lifts up. It knows when I point, and it points in the game, even though I'm not pressing this trigger. And this trigger here is like much more like an accelerator. 0, 25, 50, 100% down kind of thing. Whereas the button on this, it's either on or it's off. It's just not as good. Also, with the Lenovo Explorer, you've got 2 AA batteries. With the Oculus Rift S, you have 1 AA battery. Now, you would think that with 1 AA battery and 2 AA batteries on the Lenovo Explorer, this would last longer, but it doesn't. I would say the Oculus Rift S controller lasts maybe 2 to 3 times longer than what this does. And in this, I have the Panasonic Eneloop Pro batteries that are 2,450 milliamp hour, 2 of them, and this still just dies out on me in a few hours mostly, depending on what you're doing. And if the vibration motors are constantly going and how much you're moving them around, all that stuff. So yeah, in terms of controllers, Oculus Rift S all day long. And while we're on the subject of controllers, I'll talk about the tracking on the two. How well does the inside-out tracking of the Lenovo compared to the Rift S? The Lenovo has 1, 2 cameras on the front, kind of slightly pointed down and to the side a little bit. Whereas the Rift S, that has 1, 2 at the front, and then 1, 2 at the sides pointed down a bit. And then we have another one at the top. So of course, the tracking is going to be a little bit better on the Rift S compared to the Lenovo Explorer. I find with the Lenovo Explorer, if I have these controllers down by my side a bit for too long, it'll just lose tracking. If I go to reach something out of my backpack or something in a game, you might lose tracking on this compared to this. This, I find I barely ever lose tracking at these at all. I don't know whether it's down by my side or out. It tends to just track it. I grab stuff from, even though I don't have a camera back here in like Echo Combat or something, I go to grab something out of the rack, it knows, I grab it out, it's fine, not a problem. I don't lose tracking on the controllers. Is it as good as outside-in tracking? Well, no. In terms of inside-out tracking, I think the Rift S does a really good job. Tracking Rift S all day long. Also, the thing about Oculus is there tends to be more game exclusivities to Oculus compared to Windows mixed reality. And also, because Oculus has a high market share compared to pretty much anyone else, obviously HTC are close, but I think Windows mixed reality, there's less than 15% market share here. Whereas I think this is more like 50%, maybe even a little bit more. Obviously it changes by the time you're watching this, it could all be different, but Oculus has majority share currently. And so when game developers are developing games, they're like, hey, we need to have Oculus in mind here. And so they test on Oculus a lot more than what they do with this, if at all, for Windows mixed reality. Some games don't actually support Windows mixed reality at all. There are ways around it. For example, Steam games, you can download Windows mixed reality for Steam VR, I think it is. And that'll pretty much allow you to play most games, even though it's not really supported. But sometimes the controllers can be a little out. It doesn't work as well as using, let's say, an Oculus with certain games. So again, for compatibility in games and everything, I would say Oculus is better. They have market share. People tend to make games for Oculus more than Windows mixed reality. While I'm talking about compatibility, I'll also talk about compatibility of the headsets with your PC. Number one, check out the minimum specs on Oculus's website and Windows website on the minimum specs that your computer needs to run each headset. And you may find that your PC does not meet the requirements. That is a big thing to check. So much on the used market, I see VR headsets popping up. Didn't realize my PC wasn't compatible. You didn't check? And that's actually how I bought the Lenovo Explorer a few years ago. Was I bought this off a family that didn't realize their PovPack laptop couldn't run VR. It was brand new. And they plugged it in and they're like, ooh, not compatible. Ooh. And they tried figuring out ways around it, and then, you know, there wasn't. So instead they just sold the headset. So I pretty much got this, what was effectively brand new headset for half the price of a new one. And they lost the moolah. That was my gain. Also, while I'm on that, I will also talk about VR is pretty new tech. There is going to be issues sometimes. There's going to be less issues with Windows mixed reality. It's been out for a while. Not as much of a problem. Whereas the Rift S, it hasn't been out for that long. When this first came out, this had major issues with a lot of people. A lot of people were returning headsets, all that. This headset is getting better with age. less issues with age. It still has issues, and I think that's just got to do with Oculus, and it's very difficult trying to make a piece of hardware to be compatible with every single other piece of hardware out there in everyone's different computer and different laptop with different motherboards and graphics cards and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes there's an incompatibility issue somewhere. For 80% of people, this will probably work fine, plug it in, not a problem. For 20% maybe, you might have a few little issues. And let me give you an example of that. This computer here does not like this headset. It has some issues with like DisplayPort, compatibility, I don't know. There's something there that we're trying to figure out. I'm currently talking with Oculus about it. Some kind of incompatibility issue or something is going on with this computer, even though it's well above minimum specs. But then when I plug this unit into my other gaming PC, which isn't quite as powerful as this PC, this works flawlessly. Not a single problem on that PC, just amazing. But then when I plug it in here, I have a few little issues. Again, I'm trying to sort that out. It works, but it's sometimes just goes black. And then it comes back alive again. But that's what I mean. New headsets have some issues, which I have faith in Oculus that they're figuring that out, which is why I haven't done my review on this yet. I'm waiting for those to be resolved. Maybe I'll be waiting a while, I don't know. If it takes too long, I'll just do my review. But at the moment, I'm leaving it. I'm currently in talks with Oculus. We'll figure it out. So overall, I'm not going to tell you what headset you should buy, because everyone's got different circumstances and scenarios and all this sort of stuff that they prioritize this over that, or I just want VR cheap. I don't care about it. That's fine. But if you really want to prioritize optics and everything, you really want the best experience for reasonable money. It's not expensive, but it's, you know, is spending the extra money from this to this giving you better vision? Yes, it is. If that's what you really want, then yeah, go this. If you can afford this, probably go this. The Rift S is totally worth it over the Lenovo, in my opinion, for the extra $350 or whatever it is, Australian dollars, in my opinion. I was a little bit worried when I bought this that spending the 650 Australian dollars was not going to be worth it for me, because I already had this and it's so similar spec. But despite those similar specs, just a world of difference, in my opinion, in just tracking, in optics, in controllers. If you can afford it, I mean, go the Rift S. But if you're looking for absolute value for money, but you just want the cheap VR headset that will get you in amongst your friends on VR chat or something like that, go with some friends in big screen cinema, watch some movies in there, this isn't too bad for the money you pay. I've had some people in my comment section saying in the US and all that, they've been picking these up for like $150 US, $200 US, all that sort of stuff, $120. This is an amazing deal for that money. If you've never tried VR before and you just want to try it, maybe you don't know that you even want VR, for $150 US, you can try it out, get into some VR experiences, try the latest Boneworks game or whatever. that everybody's raving about, you know, this is a great option if you don't want to spend that extra money. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, everybody. Hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in the next video.